thank you to new subscribers. Really appreciate you. Do please share the videos when I put them out there. I really do appreciate the viewership. So tonight is a random one, not even a random one. As I come in from the evening, finishing work, I do like to sit down and see what's been going on in the world of sport, particularly the world of boxing, as you know. And I like to, so I was watching some other things, and suddenly watching things on the things going on inside the world, and suddenly there was a highlight reel, and it was Conor Benn versus Peter Dobson. So, in light of recent boxing events, when people say they're going to do this and they're going to do that and they're going to punch this person, they're going to do that person, and they're going to cause damage and they're going to cause pain and they're going to cause war and it's going to be a real fight and it's going to be a tear up and what other words are they used? Yeah, you'll knock his block off and what else? It's punching something should have left to be crying for right now. He never said that, but that was a Nigel Benn comment. I remember Michael Watson said, "If Nigel Benn doesn't respect me outside the ring, I can guarantee you he will respect me inside the ring." Well, that night, Michael Watson put on a boxing masterclass against the Dark Destroyer Nigel Benn. Came out winging, throwing punches left, right, and centre like a madman, man possessed. I remember it well. I was a Ben supporter. I remember my dad in the background. He talked to his mate. He said, "What do you think about this Ben Watson fight?" He said, "Well, Ben ain't fought nobody, right? All the guys Ben fought, he knocked him over. He ain't fought nobody of any caliber, and nobody's really stood up to him and stuck it on him." And he said, "What do you know about Watson?" "Yeah, Watson's a good boxer, technical, got a good jab, good boxing fundamentals. He'll beat Ben. He'll beat Ben bad." What did I laughed at my dad, said, "Nah, Watson? Nah, Ben's going to knock him out. Ben will knock him over." Well, the night came. I remember it because I was going to get my hair cut that day. And Nigel Benn took 4 hours getting his hair done. JD Sports is in Manor Park. He was in Ilford, man, Ben. It took 4 hours. I never got my hair cut. That was going to go to that place for the first time. And Ben took 4 hours in a chair to get his hair done. The whole of the barbershop was packed out, so I hear. Yeah, so I was told by my mate, don't come down, don't come down. That was back in the day where you had the mobile phone was like a brick. I don't know if you remember them days, but those were back in the day. Anyway, Finsbury Park was the venue. Nigel Benn, Michael Watson, yes. Lackvinder, good to see you, brother. Nigel Benn, Michael Watson said, "Right, Ben will bang him out in a couple of rounds." And I should have foretold is forewarned. And I remember his fight against, I saw his fight against Anthony Logan the fight before. And Ben was dropped by Logan and he just swung Ben was getting punched up by Logan. They got watch for Anthony Logan. All of a sudden, he threw a wild left hook out of nowhere, and Ben knocked out then Anthony Logan. Yeah. Fast forward to the fight against Ben and Watson, and Ben comes out like a steam train, throwing punches, bang, bam, 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 bam. Madman, come out like a madman. And all Watson did, he sat on the ropes, just peekaboo, just tuck, 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 tight, waiting for Ben to tire himself out. And then when Ben punched himself out, Watson for a jab. Every so often, Watson would open up on Ben, right? And in one particular combination, he opened up, I think, right in the fifth round. No, it's in the sixth round. I remember the combination. Bap, bap, bap. He throws a combination. Ben gets punched in the eye, and Ben turns away. This is Nigel Benn. He turns away, and then all of a sudden, because he's hurt and exhausted, and then he comes firing back, and the commentator says, "Oh, Ben's firing back," and the next minute, Ben is hit with a jab. Oh, he's gone. So the big hitter has been hit. That was I think he's in the sixth round, and he's been counted out. That was Nigel Benn getting knocked out for the first time by Michael Watson. I paid my dad £1 back. It was a bet. I cried that night. My hero, Nigel Benn, had been beaten. And not just beaten, my dad was laughing in the background how Ben got knocked out by a jab. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Goodness me. If you don't like the fight, mate, don't watch it. Simple as that. It's no point telling me, trying to convince me that if you don't like the fight, don't watch it. Simple as. Anyway, so because what do you want me to do about it? Do you want me to stop the fight? Do you want me to stop the fight from happening? Do you want me to? What do you want me to do? You don't want to see the fight? Don't watch the fight. Simple as. But don't come telling me that. It's what it is. Anyway, I'm telling you a story. So anyway, Conor Benn, Nigel Benn loses that fight, and then his whole life changes. He goes to America, gets a proper American trainer, trains out in the States, and he comes back fighting guys that sat in real tough fights. He comes back. Of course, he comes back to England. He wins the WBO title fighting Doug DeWitt, who's the WBA champion. After that fight against Doug DeWitt, straight after that fight, he ripped up his British license live on television because I think they didn't want him to fight Doug DeWitt or something like that. He wasn't supported, something like that. Anyway, let's fast forward to 2025, and I've just watched a video of Conor Benn fighting. And, all I've been hearing about Ben recently is he's going to fight this person, he's going to do this person, he's going to punch this guy, looking for a fight. Well, he's got a fight, and he's got a fight against Chris Eubank Jr. I disagree with you, mate, because I think Eubank Jr. has done a lot in boxing. Done a lot more than a lot of people have done in boxing. Well, he went in the ring, he took punches off George Groves. He went in the ring against James DeGale. He went in the ring against Billy Joe Saunders. He went in the ring against quite a few fighters. And none of those guys that got beat with were shabby fighters. None of the guys were shabby. Groves was world champion. Saunders was world champion. These are top fighters. And these are guys that had a much deeper amateur pedigree than Chris Eubank Jr. And for what Chris Eubank Jr. has done in his career, I think he's achieved a lot. He's won the IBO title twice. And depending on how you look at things, as far as I'm concerned, I view the IBO as a world championship, because at the end of the day, when you're talking about undisputed, the IBO belt is in that catalogue of belts. So for me, he's done a lot more fighters, and he's done more than some British fighters, who supposedly fought better fighters and have come out broke at the end of their lives, so their boxing careers. So for me, Eubank's done well for himself, very well for himself. It's prize fighting, and he's gone out there as a prize fighter and made a good bit of dough. He's good. He's living a happy and successful life. So for me, Eubank's done a lot in boxing. Has he done more than Roy Jones? No. Has he done more than Floyd Mayweather? No. Has he done more than Canelo? No. Has he done more than his father? No. Has he done more than Christopher Eubank Senior? No. But look at the standards was putting him against. Has he done more than Joe Kazaki? No. Has he done more than Alexander Usyk? No. Has he done more than Thomas Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard? No. But you're talking about great fighters. And then just under the great fighters are very good fighters. So, I think it's a bit unfair to say that he's done nothing. I want to go back to my point. So, the Ben Dobson fight was my chance to look at Conor Benn again through different eyes. So I'm looking at Conor Benn as, if I was going to train my fighter to beat Conor Benn, what would I be looking at? Well, first of all, Conor Benn for Dobson. One thing I discovered, that Ben has had a knockout after 4 rounds. That's the first thing. The second thing, he fought Dobson. I think this fight was a light middleweight fight, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but I think he fought that fight like we fought in America. Dobson was tough. He took Ben's best shots flush on the chin. So is Ben a big puncher, or is his dad a big puncher, and he's living off the fact that his dad was a big puncher? Don't know yet. That's the second thing. Third thing is, when Ben comes in, he comes in with his face. He doesn't protect his face very much. He has no defensive mechanism apart from putting his hand out. He's got no actual defense mechanism. He's got no way of really slipping and riding shots without getting hit. When he slips shots and goes under, he gets hit with uppercuts. He's clean for uppercuts. He's clean for the right hand over the top. He's clean for uppercuts for the middle, and he doesn't block a jab very well. So those are the 3 things I see. When Ben is on the offensive, he throws a jab, but he throws a jab with his right hand on his hip, which is an absolute no-no in boxing. Because when you throw the jab and you leave your right hand on your hip, you're liable to get caught with the left hook. Ben also doesn't tuck his chin in when he's throwing punches. Although he comes in like this, he's open to big right hands over the top. And even the fight against Dobson, he was getting hit with some shots of Dodson and didn't like it. And another thing I noticed, and I think, in my opinion, Ben may talk like a fighter. He doesn't really want to fight. He likes to pick punch guys and knock them over, but he doesn't really like a fight. If you don't watch the Dobson fight, his energy in the Dobson fight, where Dobson's punching him back, he does throw punches back, but that's Dobson. And that's a guy who hasn't fought experienced fighters like George Groves. And yes, Eubank might be coming to the end of his career, but he's got the poundage there. And Ben was getting hit with big shots in round 4 of this fight. Round 5, he was getting hit with big shots, getting hit with uppercuts, he's getting hit with right hands. He's going to come up to middleweight. He said he'll be that much slower with that same defensive mechanism. We just throwing the jab with right hand off the hip, his chin in the air, coming forward, throwing bombs, open to uppercuts. So he can get slipped with an uppercut, he can walk onto the uppercut, he can walk onto the right hand, he can walk onto a left hook, he can walk onto a jab. Ben is defensively irresponsible, much like his father in the fights leading up to the Watson fight. Watson was able to capitalize on Ben's mistakes and punch him up. So Ben had to go back to school and learn how to box properly. Conor Benn, on the other hand, and Ben had fought in the army, you know, he was an army man, so it was tough in that sense. Conor Benn's very different. It's very different. And those mistakes he's been making, he may come out in the Eubank fight. They may come out in the Eubank fight. It's all how much durability Eubank's got left, the weight, taking the weight off and putting it back on, how that's going to affect him. Those are key things. But if Eubank is healthy, and the way Ben fights is one way. Ben can only fight one way. He can't fight backing up. He can only fight one way. And that one way is he hits you, you fall over. And if you don't fall over, he's run out of ideas. That's it. So, unfortunately for Mr. Ben, if you can't get Eubank in the first 4 rounds out of there, he's going to be a sitting duck for right hands, left hooks, uppercuts, and jabs. And let me tell you something. He might not get through to that 4th round because he's going to get clipped with something. Unless Eubank has suddenly lost his durability and stuff. And that can happen. It's 35. Let's remember what happened against Liam Smith when he didn't do the weight right. Ben, we'll see what he does at middleweight. But what I saw of him at welterweight, and now I saw him at light middleweight, and then he's been out of the ring a year or whatever. Listen, they don't look good for Conor Benn. It doesn't. Unless Eubank is completely gone at the weight. All right? Unless he's gone at the weight. If he's gone at the weight, even then, if Eubank's got any sort of strength left, Ben is a sitting duck to get knocked out. I swear it. And then he's going to have a rematch. If I'm Eubank, as Ben comes out, use the jab and time him. Time with the uppercut. When he throws the overhand right, his open is vulnerable as well. And keep Ben backing up. Make him fight backwards. Let him fight backwards. If he's coming forward to you, it's all right. Time him with the uppercut. He's there. But a jab, just keep a jab in his face. Just keep a jab in Ben's face. Keep that long jab in his face. And when he gets in close, whip the uppercut in. Short uppercut, left hook combination. You know, you can style the jab out. You can blind with a jab through the right hand, throw left hook combination. Left-right combination. Straight down the pipe, the right hand, left hook combination. Do you understand? You don't have to be... You can fight 505 with Ben because I don't think his durability is that great. And when he gets hit with a big punch, I don't think he's going to respond very well to it. That's the energy I'm getting. I think he's one of these dudes that if you let him get on top of you and land bombs and punch you up, that's one thing. But when you start punching Ben back, it's another story altogether. And at middleweight, getting punched back, yeah, I don't know. He hasn't got the technical skills to pull it off, I don't think. And I said, the only but in this fight is Eubank's weight and whether taking that weight off. If you can take the weight off properly and do it the right way, and you've got a good dietitian, then Ben's in a lot of trouble because technically Ben is not very good at all. He's technically terrible, right? And that's not beating a slate on Ben. Yeah, it's just the way I see it. I can't sit here and sugarcoat something and tell you, yeah. No, I'm not telling you Eubank is technically brilliant, but he's better than Ben. He's fundamentally better than Ben. He throws a better jab than Ben. Ben just throws wild hooks. In fact, this version of Ben at the moment reminds me of his old man. But even his old man was more devastating with his punching power. He was knocking dudes out clean, like clean knocking guys out. Not leading referee, and he was going through guys. And even at world level, he was knocking guys over and hurting them and dropping them and knocking them out. Ben has fought nowhere near. Remember, his technique has not taken him English level, British level, European level. And if you want to, for me, I think Eubank is fringe world level. For me, world level, fringe world level. Because George Groves didn't walk through Chris Eubank Jr. And this is Chris Eubank Jr. at super middleweight. George Groves didn't walk through him. Liam Smith walked through him, but we know why he walked through him, because as far as I'm concerned, he was weight drained. Who else beat him? Billy Joe Saunders didn't walk through him. And this is a guy that didn't have the amateur experience of George Groves or Billy Joe Saunders. So Eubank's done well for himself. Don't listen to the garbage that Talk Sport talk about, and people don't listen to these guys who don't know nothing about boxing. Eubank's done well for his career, considering. I mean, what about Marvin Fraser, who was the son of Joe Fraser? He didn't do anything. You know what I mean? We could talk about many sons that have not been as good as their fathers. I like Sugar Shane Mosley's son, but he's not done as good as Sugar Shane Mosley. You can't expect that. The only one who's gone and surpassed their father is Floyd. It's Floyd, and he's done better. Not only his father, he's done better than his father. He's done better than his uncle. So I mean, there's very few people that have a successful father that are going to be better than their father. That's my thoughts on it. I mean, you guys can think different of it, and I appreciate that. But go back and look at Conor Benn again. Go back and look at a Dobson fight again. Look how many times he gets hit with the uppercut. Look how many times he gets hit with the right hand. Let me tell you how many times he gets hit with the jab. And Dobson doesn't move anywhere. Dobson obviously gets hit with a shot. He takes a shot. But at no point in time does Dobson legs do a wobble. There's any time Dobson look like he's going to get knocked out. And that's at light middleweight. So I don't know where Ben is getting his power from light middleweight up to middleweight. And his punch power has not been proven at the world level. Do you know what I think's happened? In my personal opinion, I know what's happened. They've looked at the Dobson fight. They've looked at the other dude, that Mexican guy that always punched him up. They looked at those two fights and said, you know what? We need to cash this guy out quickly because he's going to get punched up by somebody who's unknown. We don't want that happening. Or we don't want to get him punched up by somebody who's not going to bring the money. That Barrios thing was talk. He was never going to fight Barrios. That Barrios thing was just talk to make the Eubank fight happen. Well, what happens if he goes to fight Barrios? If he goes and get beat by Barrios, then you're not going to make the money. Come on, mate. You've seen what's happened with Joshua and Wilder. So the fans buy bullshit. Don't think there was any Barrios Ben fight on. Ben was not world ranked. So where the hell did he get himself to fight Barrios? This fight makes more sense for legacy and for money reasons, and a 2-fight deal. Do you understand? So if Ben loses the first fight, he can always come back and fight again. Do you understand? There's money to be made there. There's no money in Ben versus Barrios. No matter how much Ben says he's just a big ticket seller. Don't believe the BS. I think they've seen what Ben's capabilities got. This guy's going to get beat if he goes for a world. And now he's going to get smashed to bits. But if he fights Eubank, well, there's some money there in it. And he's moved up 2 weight divisions. He's moved up 2 weight from welterweight to middleweight. But he's not moving up 2 weight divisions because he fought at light middleweight twice. So he's only moved up 1 weight division. So it's all smoke and mirrors. All smoke and mirrors, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts and opinion. Have a look at the Conor Benn fight against Dobson. I didn't even look at the other Mexican guy he fought, or what his name was, because I remember watching that fight and for myself, ooh, Ben could get beat in this fight. But yeah, he wasn't impressive at light middleweight. And I don't know if that's because of the whole PED situation. I don't know. I can't speak one way or the other about that because I didn't test him. And I don't know what political issues are there as well. So I don't know. What I damn well do know is that he looked different at light middleweight. And he didn't look the same explosive puncher as a welterweight. And if that's the case, and he is clean, and then it doesn't bode well for him at middleweight. Because who's he knocked out at light middleweight that's of any consequence? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section. It's good to hear from you. Good to see you and good to hear from you all. This has been BWTM Sports Gaming, and I'm out. Have a good one.